All right, let's see who's coming in here. Let me know where you're from. I know where some of you are from. Hi. It's nice to see you all. Sorry, there's my dogs. I can't close my door because it is warm in my office right now. So sorry if you can hear my dogs creating chaos in here behind me. Ooh. Uh, Quispamissis. Linda, I never really knew that you were from a town with, and it, it's always nice to see you. I did not realize that you were from that small town. I thought you were, for some reason, from St. John. So I learned something today. We can't all leave yet because we need to learn more, but that's fun. Oh, it is St. John. Oh, okay. Cool. If you want to let me know where you're from, that's fun. So I see Kathy Volk in here. Kathy, I loved that the other day in a group chat, it disintegrated or accelerated in a good way into everyone was going to your place because you live on a lake in Buffalo and have a boat. And somehow we turned that all into a trip. And then a whole group of us were going to Florida later, as far as I can understand. So that was a fun one, Kathy or Kathleen. I'm not sure what you go to. To where you were. So you're in Palo Alto. All right. Maple Creek, Saskatchewan. Uh-oh, pulling the boat and the docks out this weekend. We are pulling ours out probably around the end of October. And I'm not far from you in that I'm outside of Toronto, north of Burlington kind of thing. And so, thank you. From Las Vegas. You were at my session. Oh, that is so fun. I am glad you enjoyed it. It's hiding your name, but it's Z Marie, I think. I am going to be back in Las Vegas this year. I am doing a session on automation, light touch on AI, but mostly on automation we can implement right now without getting too crazy going down the rabbit hole of automation. Anyways, I went way off topic, and so I'm going to self-bell, and we are actually going to start the session. And the session is, let me see. Yeah, same, Kathleen. We have pulled our boats out like ding dongs way too late. When the wind is howling and trying to get that organized, what a disaster. Okay, so you should be able to see my thing. I just want to take a look at who's in here. So I'm opening up a couple of other panels for myself. And now we are going to get going. So hello to everybody. Welcome and thank you for coming. Some of you I saw last week. That was super fun, live and in person. Quite a few of you actually. And some of you I saw earlier this week in some webinar sessions, and some of you I am going to see at QB Connect. So hello, hello, hello. Today we are doing how to use software to build a collaborative and engaging remote work culture for your virtual firm. And my slide mover thinger won't work. I am Kellie Parks. I have a cloud accounting, it's a cloud bookkeeping business up here in Canada, Calmwaters Cloud Accounting. And super quick, I want every accounting professional to love cloud accounting as much as I do. I am a member of on the international team Intuit Trainer Writer Network. I am the leader bean of the Financial Sense ambassador program. That's been a fun ride for me. We're just getting started on that. I am certified or partnered up in over a dozen cloud software products, one of which, of course, is Dext. So that's way too much of Kellie. So today we are setting the stage for remote work success. We will noodle through the key elements of a successful remote culture, including what apps build a virtual world you will be proud of. A world where work gets done together, efficiently, effectively, and happily. Oh, so somebody is, thank you. Yeah, very funny, Sherry. So today's agenda, we are going to discuss the key elements of a successful remote work culture. So we are going to talk about creating confidence, which I think is one of the key elements of a successful remote culture. It's actually the key element of successful relationships, live in person with our team, with our clients, with everybody. Creating confidence is key. Collaboration, which includes communication and collaborating through remote means using communication methods. Cheer. I would like to say that I think fun is totally underrated in the workplace, and I think it's important to create fun and cheer in every relationship, let alone in the remote worker relationships. And we need to create compatibility, whether it is app to app or charting the course for new apps. We need to make sure that everybody is on board and that the apps are compatible with each other and that they are compatible to the way our remote workers think. So creating confidence, education of the apps, processes, and technical skills. So this is really key. You need to make sure that people are educated in using the technology that you have in place. You need to make sure that they are educated in the things that they need to do. So whether it is the bookkeeping, the admin work for you, the HR work for you, whatever it is, you need to make sure that they are educated on how to actually do the work, but on how to actually use the applications to get the most out of their work environment. And so I want to veer off a little bit today onto the different types of learning, because I think you need to address them all. So they are 4 key learning styles. So you need to address them, and you need to have resources and wikis built around these 4 types. So one of them is visual. So these are the people that see things. I am a super visual learner. I like to see things made before me. I like, oh, my slide advancer is not working. Sorry. Auditory. Some people need to hear things. These are the people that maybe learn through podcasts. They learn through recordings. So a lot of people can learn through their auditory needs. Some people need to read and write. They learn through reading things manually, perhaps even hardcover, through real guides and journals, and through writing. I think all of us, well, I'm speaking for myself. I know it's a virtual world, and I am 90% paperless. I'm looking for an example. But I like to write things down. If I write things down, I have a tendency to remember them, like actually pen to paper. I tend to remember them better. So you can encourage your team member when they're in meetings to read and write, if that is what their learning skill or what their learning type is. And then there are the kinesthetic. I said I was visual through seeing. I'm actually visual in how I react to things, but I'm super kinesthetic. And that means I like to do things. I like to dig into software and teach myself how to use it. I like to have some failings in there. I like to have some wins in there. And some of your team members, that may be the thing. They don't want you to teach them specifically how to use it. They want the freedom to go in and start monkeying about in there. So those kind of learners, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to give them test accounts to learn things on if they are super kinesthetic. So be really aware of the different kinds of learning styles that people have. Creating confidence comes through documenting processes. People will be much more confident and do things the way that you want them done, or do them at all, not put them off, if you have well-documented processes that they can understand what it is that they need to do. You need to distribute them effectively. Don't make them an island. Don't put them where it's hard to get to. Make it easy to get to your resources. Sorry, it's been a talky day today. Create support channels for all of your resources, but I didn't mean that, not for your resources. Create support channels. So those channels could be within an application such as Financial Sense, or they could be within an outside application. So a good example of that would be support channels in Slack that are accessible for everybody to help each other. Use surveys and evaluations. You need to find out how your people are feeling. You can make them anonymous if you want to. but make sure that you are checking in and using surveys and evaluations that direct the questions to the problems you're trying to solve are incredibly useful. Okay, so on our documented processes, everything for us is stored inside of Financial Sense. There's two ways we store it. We either store it as three ways. We either store it as links, we store things as descriptions, or we store actual PDFs of documents that tell people how to do things. It really depends on how granular the information needs to be. So the overall SOP, we have a client, it's called very creatively Calmwaters Administration. So we have a client in there, that's what it's named. And in there is where we can store our firm overall SOP, standard operating process. So everything someone would want to know about how we are going to run our business and manage our clients would be stored in that administrative client in Financial Sense. Then any wikis, whether they're videos, whether they are slide decks or SOPs related to individual clients, can be stored either in the project, if it relates more to a project, or in the client itself, so that it is easy to access when you are working on that client. So it really depends on how granular you want to get. And some of them are strictly descriptions. So those descriptions would go mostly at a task level is where you're going to have what the description of that overall thing. So make sure that you're distributing them effectively, that you're putting them where people know they're going to find them and can access them in the moment that they actually need them. One of the other things that we do to create confidence is I supply not just to Marissa, who is my bookkeeper, but I supply to my clients as well. So I'm going, I know this is more about setting up a remote work culture, but I think we need to include our clients in this remote collaboration. So I set up something that is called a Chrome person for Marissa has a Chrome person and my clients have Chrome people. Chrome people are essentially special ways of building Chrome. So you can see here's Marissa's, and in Marissa's is going to be the way that she works. Let me show you a training one, which is a good example. Let me just make sure that you're looking at the right thing. Zoom has decided not to show me what I'm sharing. Can somebody chat in? Am I sharing a new Chrome browser? Do I have a new visual on here? QBO login. Thanks, Rom. Okay, so this is an example of creating confidence because I have made it easy for people to work how it is that they want to work, to get around to things. I have trained them on it. I have made it easy to access reports. So I have tricked out individual Chrome browsers so that they have a lot of things that make it working effectively. And if they can work effectively and efficiently, they are going to feel more confident as well. So this is another idea of setting it up to also manage that your clients are working the way you want them to. So Kathleen is like me. You've got a few more of them. So yeah, Kathleen has 4 Chrome profiles. You can see that I'm a little crazy. I've got a whole bunch of them. But this is a really good way to work. Okay, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. You know what else I want to show you? Let me just make sure it's not going to show any information that I shouldn't be showing. No. Just give me a second here. So in here, the other thing that I've done is, so for example, you can do deep dives into, you can do links into specific things within the applications as well. Ease of use means confidence and things will get done the way that you want them to get done. So someone wants to know, are all these Chrome profiles pay for accounts using Google Workspace? No. So the only one that is my paid Google Workspace profile is this one. This is what I call my productivity, and my login is actually my Google Workspace. All the other ones you can create them to sync across various devices or across various users by using a free something at gmail.com. So you just have to make up a Gmail account, and then all of those other users of mine are not Google Workspace. They are just fake accounts that I have created, except Marissa's. That's her Calmwaters one. She's got her own login there. Okay, so somebody needs to stop me. I went way off topic, and I need to stop doing that. So we're not going to continue down that rabbit hole. Let's get back. Okay, creating collaboration. And I want to go back when. So use apps. I'm going to state the obvious here, Kelly, Captain Obvious. Use apps that have collaboration features. So which ones have collaboration that shine though? What features do those applications need? Creating collaboration. So you are going to need an efficient and engaging way of communicating. And so whether you love or loathe email, it's here to stay. Everybody uses email in business. And so email integration may be a big one. It allows us to see the history of client emails and attach them to projects if relevant. I think Financial Sense has one of the strongest email collaborations that I have seen. We can create projects in there, we can pin them to projects, and we have incredible visibility into what has gone on with our team and our clients within a contained place. I call it aggregation of data. So we've got an aggregation of our communication data. In Dext, one of the things that we make sure that we put in as part of the client wiki that we use for collaboration is the email in addresses, so that we can easily send those off to our clients, but also so that we can send things off there as well. So there is some email collaboration in Dext as well. There is in-app messaging. So both Financial Sense and Dext have in-app messaging. In Financial Sense, it is in a project and you create a task for a client, or you go into the client chat area and you can chat back and forth in there. Even a new client that I picked up that I am doing a remediation file on, she is chatting happily in there. It was a seamless experience with her. So that has been great for Marissa and I to see what's going on in that file at all times. In Dext, you can leave notes on receipts, and Marissa and I use flags with our clients and with each other. So if we flag a receipt, that means do not publish it. We need more information, and we leave notes on that as well. We can put those notes right on the receipts that we are dealing with right in the Dext app itself. If you want to message your clients through Dext, that is going to show up for them on the app, not necessarily on the desktop. So make sure that you're using the messaging correctly in there. In Financial Sense, we communicate a number of ways. I forgot to do this. So I'm just going to, I didn't need to put those out yet. In Financial Sense, we use the in-app messaging for each other in a number of ways. So it's at Marissa, and we can have that where it belongs. It can be right in the task. It can be in the project. It can be in the client. So it directs us right to where the question should be. So we use that. We are no longer using Slack. We are doing all of our communication on client work with each other within Financial Sense, and that has been a game changer for us. So your apps need to have a way of atting. We also like to use the like buttons. So if Marissa sends me a note, I don't want to peck out a note back at her. So we very often just use the thumbs up emoticon in there, and that indicates that we read it and understand it if we don't have to at back some sort of a question. Sharing documents is huge with your team, with your clients, and distributing that so that everybody has them where they want them. So looking for apps that make it easy to collaborate on file sharing. Dext, of course, is a huge win here. I try to have everything that is a client source document go into Dext. I want them in one place. But the onboarding documents that I need, documents that I want to share with Marissa, all of that stays in Financial Sense. And so make sure that it feels organized, that you can put files in specific places that you want them. So you want those documents in the client overall, or do you want them assigned to a specific project? Make sure that you have granularity on the ability to document share. Do they feel organized? Are the files easy to access? Can you expand and limit user permissions? So make sure that you can keep the documents out of the eyes of the people who should not be seeing them. Dext is a no-brainer, obviously, for receipts with the OCR and the publishing to the GLs. So that is where the source documents is going. And Financial Sense is so visible for us with the hot mess files. We take on hot mess files. We use the Financial Sense. I mentioned this lightly, but we use that to bring in hot mess clients that we may not keep on. And we use it for onboarding clients so that we always have in the onboarding project with them, we have all of those initial documents that we need. So real-time and asynchronous systems. I got through the word asynchronous. Try saying that 3 times fast. It is not easy. And today has been a talky day, so I'm feeling it. Okay, so do you have a way of building asynchronous communication for your team members? So for example, Marissa and I don't work at the same time frames. She is not a morning person and I am some sort of crazy lunatic morning person. So we need asynchronous communication, whether it is written or whether we are shipping videos back. And I said that wrong. Whether we are sharing videos back and forth with each other. We don't send client videos. They can be intercepted. We share them using an email address and a password. The password for the videos that is client work is actually listed in the client database so that we have access to that all the time. We are doing one right now. We have a client that has switched to a new program. It's called Donor Perfect. And the integration has not been working out as planned. I don't mean to shock anybody that a app integration with QuickBooks didn't work out the way we planned or the way the app said it would. So we need to ship some videos around on that and not ship, share videos on that. And we are doing that. So a happy remote team may not be working at the same time as you, the clients or other team members. This is where dashboards and notifications are key. I don't have any Financial Sense notifications coming into my email unless I have an urgent client case coming on and I'm waiting for information from them. I am traveling so that I have a better handle on what work has been completed. But when I am working right here, I go into Financial Sense and I use the notification center in there so that I can keep everything in one place. And I don't really need them in my email because I'm going to action them in Financial Sense. So keep it where you're going to use it. Collaboration, needs to have a way of measuring engagement. So one of the ways of measuring engagement is you can use cheer channels. So you can have the wins, the woes. I call these cheer channels. Are they engaged in the workflow app? And I saw someone put in here that they are loving the Financial Sense confetti explosion. Me too. That's a quick little dopamine hit. I did not tell, I knew that that was in there. I did not tell Marissa it was there. And as soon as she saw that, she messaged me right away. She thought that was so much fun. So that's part of the cheer thing. And then you have all kinds of reports in Financial Sense to see if they're managing their time correctly, how they are getting through their work. Is the work compliant? Are you achieving your capacity goals? If you look in there and you have budgeted for time on clearing the bank feeds in an account as, let's say, half an hour, and it turns out it's taking an hour, Does that mean that the client is more complicated than you accounted for, or that your team member needs better training? So how can you measure that they are succeeding in there? We don't use time tracking, but time tracking versus a budget is somewhat useful. We're doing that right now. We started maybe a month and a half ago doing some time tracking on our clients because we want to measure for capacity. We're planning a growth phase in the spring. We want to see how long it's taking to do what we're already doing. And it's helping me see if Marissa needs a lift in any of the areas. So make sure you are measuring their engagement. Any questions? I'm not seeing really any questions popping up in here. Okay, so creating cheer. Cheer is about adding fun to our everyday work. Little bursts of dopamine hit, like those confetti bursts that are going on right now. Oh, I want to go back to one slide here, and that is measuring engagement. In Dext on the dashboard, you can see what the publishing rate looks like. When you're actually in the client files, you can see, I like to go in and see how many open items there are in Dext and what the problems in there could be. Do I need to help Marissa with a client who is not doing a great job of successfully uploading receipts, or are putting in older receipts that shouldn't be going in there? So also going in app in Dext, taking a noodle through there and seeing what is happening in there. If they are not succeeding in getting the source documents published over to the GL, that's another indication that you may, in a nice way, of course. So we want to add fun to our everyday work. I have a super fun thing that I do not need. So I have a Stream Deck, and I'm going to get a little bit off topic, and I'll bell if I go too far. A Stream Deck, you can look it up on the internet, but it's a little box, and you push buttons and it does things. It can make noises. It can do, it can open applications for you. It can do text expanders. So you just push it and it pecks out a phrase for you, which I need less and less now. You can do all of these things on a Stream Deck. I do not need it. I have hotkeys on my computer. I know about shortcuts. I've got text expanders going in other places, but it's fun. So I love my Stream Deck more than anything just because it's fun. The other way that you can create cheer, other than the confetti bursts, is you can make sure that you are using applications that have UX, which is the user experience, and UI, which is the user interface. So how you feel about looking at it and where the buttons are and how they're shaped. And UX is, does it have, so both Financial Sense and Dext are great at this. A big UX factor that causes remote employee engagement to go up is searchability. So if you are in the apps and they want to find something, sort, filter, search, all of those things help create cheer in your day because they are reducing frustration. So especially if you're in Financial Sense, you can search notes. That's a big one for me. In Dext, you can search, sort, and filter for almost everything. So I'm going to take a little bit back here. A couple of questions came in. Okay. It was such a good trip. Used to have the ship bell in the hallway. Yeah. Anyone could ring it when they wrap something up and felt particularly good. I agree. So Kathleen had a bell that someone could ring in the hallway. You can replicate that in the virtual world. There's all kinds of ways to do that in the applications. Currently seeping out a new ship bell for my thing. When I updated, okay, so somebody said, Z Marie said when she updated from Dext Prepare to Dext Optimize, the practice insights were a game changer for her. Yep. Is there a way to give medals in teams? That is so awesome. We live in teams. So yes. Oh, okay. Kathleen's only, no. Marie Z's only went to the team. So Marie Z is happy with the Dext Optimize, and the insights that she gives on what is happening in Dext itself. Okay, let's keep going. So how are we going to create cheer? We talked about it a little bit. I personally like stand-up meetings. And I was engaged. So a client that was a super big engagement for me and took on as a hot mess, but we needed to involve a lot of team members of theirs. I was in on their Tuesday morning stand-up meeting, and it was great. And I learned a few lessons in there. And that is, don't just start the whole meeting off with work. Find out what's going on with them. Let people chat fill time in. For personal, it doesn't just have to be business. So stand-up meetings, I think a lot of us know what those mean by now, but that is that you host a, let's call it a Zoom meeting, a Google Meet, whatever you're using, a Slack huddle, and everybody stands up so that they're not sitting at their desk, they're feeling more engaged, and then that is how the meeting is conducted. It's called a stand-up meeting. Cheer channels. So the Financial Sense Ambassador Program has what we call Taco Tuesdays. And in Taco Tuesdays, we can put in however many taco emoticons and then a description of what went well. And then we can put in the poop emoticons for maybe what didn't go well. I know the poop emoticons don't sound like a cheer channel, but they actually are. I think it's been, we're just starting out with it. So I think it's been a bit of a win for us. In real life, get-togethers. So I know we are doing remote work here, but in real life, get-togethers are great. Still, I do see Marissa occasionally. We do a real life meeting whenever she can skedoodle on over here. We are 100% remote in how we work, but I never mind getting together with her. I know a lot of people use conferences for this. They will bring their team members for a conference. I think that's brilliant. I think there's a learning opportunity there, and you get to network, outside of your company with peers, even though you are with your company members. Okay, creating compatibility. I'm just making sure I've got time here. Creating compatibility. So how your apps talk to each other can impact your remote culture. Remote workers tend to be somewhat tech forward. They want the tech to work. I know that that sounds obvious, but you need to make sure that your apps are working well together. So Dext is obviously working well with the GLs. It's publishing into Xero and QuickBooks Online and Desktop. It publishes well. That is a compatibility win. The fact that, oh, I was going somewhere with that. I'm having a heck of a long day, so I apologize. Dext is publishing over. That's a win. Anybody want to add in some other compatibility wins here? Oh, Zapier. So the fact that Financial Sense is now Zapier enabled means that it can speak to some other apps. So your team members are not pecking out and feeling like they're doing just admin work. They're not pecking out contacts, for example, would be the first thing that you would think about. Financial Sense being able to move time tracking over to QuickBooks Online, that's a compatibility win. So not having to do all kinds of awkward app compatibility dances is a big win for remote culture. So do you have too many communication apps, and are they disparate? So in your remote work culture, are you using text within your team? Facebook Messenger, Financial Sense chat, maybe you got Slack going. Are you using too many communication apps? Marissa and I are working really hard on bringing everything into Financial Sense when it comes to the client work. Occasionally, are we texting? Yeah, because we got rid of Slack. Are we occasionally texting each other? Yes, but it is more like I'm running late, or those little notes that don't particularly relate to client work. that we accidentally text to each other. Do you have these communication apps that aren't bringing all of the information together? I mentioned before about the email integration. So the email integration to bring everything into one place so that we can see the communications easily is a compatibility win. Yeah, so Google Voice with email notifications. Yep, a lot of the voice apps can bring all kinds of things in as well. I was just talking about this earlier today. There are apps that bring different communication programs together. And if you ultimately have them all land in an email, then that can flow through to Financial Sense as well. So if you want to know something that brings together, let's say Facebook, because you can't have these things coming in all over the place and be checking all of these various mediums. It's unwieldy, it's awkward. So there is something called Front that brings all of these communications into one place. This may be especially useful if you have younger generation that even in the moment, they're not sure what app they're communicating on to you. So I can't come up with the name of the other ones off the top of my head, but if you look up Front Communications competitors, and you'll come up with a whole list of these things that aggregate your communications, put them into one place. And the nice thing about ultimately having them land in email is that email is actionable. Whether we love it or not, email is actionable. So make sure that you don't have communication apps all over the place. Try to aggregate the communications. Do you have too many ways of distributing the files? I already mentioned this. Time tracking. So are you time tracking in one place and time tracking in another place? Try to aggregate all of these sort of things. The ability to link resources, we already talked about this. Can you link those resources into a useful place? So let's say that you don't want to put them all into Financial Sense. Can you aggregate them into another place that is still easy to access that you can put the links in? You don't want things scattered all over the joint. And then introducing new apps should be a group discussion. It should revolve around filling a need, solving a problem, and creating efficiency. It should not revolve around shine. So make sure that you are engaging your team members on the apps, the new apps that you want to bring in. Otherwise, they're not going to use them. It's going to be a fail if you don't make sure that they are part of the process. When I implemented Financial Sense, I did not do that on my own. I made sure that Marissa went in there and liked it as well. And so one of the examples of this is I was working with an accounting firm, and they couldn't get their team members to use the practice management app that they had. And the reason that they couldn't is because they implemented it as an island. So they decided that that was the app that they were going to use, the owner, and then tried to get the team members to use it. And the team members did not like it. And it largely came down to not necessarily the feature set. It was lacking some features, but one of the things it really lacked was a nice UX and UI. It was awkward to use, and it was no fun to use, and it was cumbersome. So he did not know whenever work was coming his way. He couldn't manage his own capacity or his team's capacity, because instead of working through the task lists, if you will, as the team was working on the client work, they would finish the client work, and then they would go in and they would check everything off at once. What that meant was that the owner did not know when files were coming to him for review. He did not know if the problem or the holdup on the work was stuck with the client. He did not know whether it was stuck at reconciliations or if it was stuck all the way at the top on the document management milestone. He couldn't measure anything, and it was frustrating. He did not implement that with his team. And so once he did realize that he needed to go back to the drawing board, there was a much bigger user uptake and his team was much happier. They liked being in the program, they felt confident in it, and they were using it. So make sure you're engaging all of the stakeholders in your firm in it. And I know we're talking about remote team culture, but it's always going to come back to the client too. Pretend you're a client and be at the other end of these applications. I don't have a single client that didn't. Okay, so I don't have too many clients at any given time, but I take on these hot messes and I work through them, and then maybe I'll have them for 6 months, 2 years, and then they graduate from me. So I am bringing on new clients like crazy, and then I am disengaging happily, in a good way, clients like crazy. And on that, I have yet to have a client that did not say, wow, Dext is cool, and I'm loving using that. Any firms that I've been working with that started in on Dext are loving using it. But I'll tell you, Financial Sense, I have had fantastic client uptake on it. So not only does Marissa love using it, my clients at the other end are using it. And I have this really awkward fun situation going on right now. I talked to Sharam a little bit about this last week. Sharam was up here in Canada at our event, and Tosin, hi Tosin. And so I do accounting for accounting firms books. It's a new niche of mine. I've got 2 of them right now. And in the spring, that's what I'm going to build out, is the books for accounting firms or bookkeeping firms. So I have a accounting firm right now, and they are migrating. Carbon did not work out. I'm not dissing Carbon. I'm just saying it didn't work out for them. And they are migrating through to Financial Sense. So right now, that client is a user. The reason she's moving to it is because she was a client user. She was on the receiving end of all of the things we were asking them to do and the chat. But right now, and I've got a little bit off topic, but it does speak to making sure that you are getting people engaged in the app decisions. She is actually my bookkeeper on her own file. She is not going to do any bookkeeping in there, although it'd be great if she just did and continue to pay me. That would be fun. She's not going to do any bookkeeping in there. What she wanted to see was, what is this going to feel like her team, for her team? And so she is part of my team now, so she can experience what that feels like. And I thought that that was kind of a fun little thing to do. I was really grateful that Marissa and I love this client and don't have any notes in her file that we would not want her to see. That would be a swing and a miss, I would say, right? So back to where I was. Make sure that you engage your team on choosing an app. Make sure that you engage them on using the app and building it out. Don't just make these unilateral decisions. And make sure you are solving a problem. Don't keep adding apps because your best accounting friend is adding some sort of an app. Make sure it's going to solve your problems that you actually have, and it's going to address the needs that your team has as well. Okay, software decision matrix. Any question? I'd love to see some chat in the webinar chat. You can just make stuff up. If you want to tell me what kind of dog you have, I'm all in. I'd like to see, or cat. I didn't mean to be that person. And not to really insult all the pet owners. My daughter has alpacas. So she is neither a dog or a cat person. She's an alpaca person. Just in case you wanted any useless information, stop it, Kelly. Okay, software decision matrix. Huh? Slide advancers. Gone haywire. This is going to seem obvious, but I want you to think about some of it. Is this software going to be easy to implement? And this is a Dext Financial Sense webinar, so if it sounds like I'm talking up Financial Sense and Dext, I am. Both of these are easy to implement. These are no-brainer programs to get up and running in. They are not complicated in any way. Marissa was up and running in it right away. Clients that are coming on board and staying for a short time, they're chatting like mad with me in it and doing things that I ask in both of those applications. So is it going to be easy to implement? So Andrew says team engagement, all levels with a question mark. Can you expand on that for me? Okay, so software decision matrix. Easy to implement or difficult to implement. Some of the apps that we really need are going to be hard to implement. You don't want to pick those off. You want to solve problems as quickly as you can with technology, but some of them you are going to have to implement, and they are going to be a lift to get moving in. Is it going to be a big win? So moving to Financial Sense for me was a big win. Moving to Dext from a previous software was a big win. So those two, easy to implement and big win, they came along happily for me with both of these applications. Is it going to be a small win? And this kind of goes back to, as I call it, SAS, shiny app attention syndrome. Are you implementing a software, even if it's easy to implement, that isn't really going to give you any big gains? It's just somebody else told you it was great. It's a small problem that it's solving for you. Is it really time to expend the energy and to have to create wikis and to try and create team engagement on what is actually not going to be a big win for you at all? So keep these 4 little matrix pieces in mind the next time you are looking to implement software that you are hoping to engage your remote workers in. Okay, so today we set the stage for remote work success by creating confidence in our team members, collaboration and cheer among our team, and compatibility in our tech stack. Financial Sense, and I'm going to open up for questions in a minute. So I've left 10 minutes at the end here for us. Financial Sense, the slide deck, I'm going to put it back in the chat again. There are links in it. Oh, except is the chat gonna, oh, I did it too. I want to do it to everybody. Hold on. So the deck is also going to go out to you. You are going to be receiving the slide deck after the session. Dext, book a demo, and then I sell workflow templates specific to Financial Sense, and there is a discount code for you there, DextFC. Very creative in my discount code for the discount on my Financial Sense templates. So thank you. And now I'd like to open it up to questions. We got 10 minutes left. I've got something right in the Q&A. What is the difference that made someone move from Carbon to Financial Sense? Okay, so I would say the main reason Carbon to, there's a number of reasons. One is ease of use. Getting your team up and running in Financial Sense is quite a seamless procedure. Price, obviously, is one. That would be a big one. It is about to have a lot more in the client resources. So the client side is getting to be incredibly strong. What do I think? There's a whole host of reasons that we chose Financial Sense. Ease of use, the client side. Oh, the tasks can get very granular. So you can contain all these little month-end tasks right in a project. This week, I will tell you, deploying an email automatically. So the automation in Financial Sense is killer, and being able to customize when workflows are deployed is the strongest I have seen in any program. I would also like to say that there is a whole ton of use case scenarios of the email now being an automated thing that happens for you. So there's automated tasks and there's automated actions. Being able to automate an action is amazing. So I will give you my use case scenario that we are going to set up right away. Maybe Marissa did. So we send out an email when we have closed the books, and it says, hey, Joe, your books are closed and your reports are now accurate. We don't send reports. They are built as custom reports. And generally my clients have a Chrome browser that the custom reports are actually in a folder, and they can just right click and open them up. It's a pretty seamless experience for them. So we don't send them. Again, they can, it's just easier all around. And we say, hey, Joe, your books for the month are now closed. Please check your reports for accuracy and let us know if there's anything that we need to revisit. And then depending on the level of engagement, it may also include a booking link. Here's the link to book our monthly meeting. Right now, in almost every program, you have to decide to send that email. Not a big deal, but every single little thing that can be automated that is a safe automation, the automation win is going to outweigh the automation fail. Also, if I can have these deployed straight from the workflow, the wording is exactly what I want. Nobody has to go find the email template. This is exactly the email wording that we want to go out with the exact signature and the exact call to action for our clients. There is no fussing with it. So it is consistent, it is concise, and it is automated. The minute we finish, close the books, we are now going to be able to have that email ship out. I think that is a huge win. So Jennifer, the strongest automation in any of the practice management apps, but it is still one of the easiest ones to use. Oh, and the client dashboard. Absolutely love the client dashboard. The little icon, no, I don't. Financial Sense calls them quality of life wins. Financial Sense quality of life wins are huge. These are all the little things that add either cheer, automation, or ease of use to our day when we are in the product. So I'm not seeing any other questions. I'm happy to, not one single person put into the chat what their favorite pet was. Well, that's a little disappointing. Okay, shiny app attention syndrome is to believe that an app is more useful than it actually is. Schnoodles. Okay, so no. Shiny app attention syndrome is not that an app may be more useful than it appears. It is that everybody is talking about it. It's new to the market. It's grabbing all of the attention. Your friends are all about it. You don't need it, but you're still going to go look at it. You're still going to play with it. I did that a couple of weeks ago when I really didn't have any time to do this. I guess now it was about 6 weeks ago because I was home and I've been away for a heck of a long time. So a couple of my friends were looking at, I can't even remember what it was. And I'm like, I don't need this. This does not solve any problems that I have. But did I go look at it? Heck yes. Did I get into their chat group on it? Of course I did. I didn't need to do that. It was absolutely ridiculous of me to do it. Was it anything I was going to implement though? No, I wasn't implementing it just for the sake of implementing an app. Okay, so we got, oh, my pup was peeking in the door. Was it a little, oh yeah, she's right here. This is my loyal one. I didn't even put my dog photo in here. They usually make their way into the slide. Schnoodles, gonna launch the poll. Yes, go ahead, launch the poll. So this topic may be unrelated to the topic at hand. I love that anyways. And we got a few extra minutes here. But my clients consistently fail to respond to my emails with financials or invitations to schedule meetings. I'm hesitant to keep using the same wording from month to month as the novelty will increase the response rate. Okay, so you can then, what you could use is in Financial Sense, the AI generated emails for that. I think the problem might be bigger than the novelty of the communications going out though. Maybe a more compelling call to action. So when you are sending the communication out, it wouldn't say, hey, I want you to schedule a meeting with me. Your communication may have to be more personal. It may be, I noticed that your cost of goods sold is disproportionate to the last few months. Can we schedule a meeting to talk about why that might be? I have a concern around it. Or you could phrase it in a question. Did you know that your cost of goods sold is out of line for the comparatives? I always run comparative reports. I don't believe that financial should be a time frame island. So I run comparatives and I like my clients to understand the comparatives. So if you gave them a more compelling reason to meet with you, that may solve that issue. As to getting them to get things to you, my clients can fail to respond. Yeah, so find a more compelling reason for them to want to meet with you, or consider it a win that you have extra time. So somebody's a horse person, me too. I am not now, because I am inconsistent on when I'm home, but I volunteer at a therapeutic riding stable. I'll still do some fundraising for them. I miss being with the horses and all of the disabled riders. 3 Great Danes, oh dear, and a tortoise. Okay, horse person, dog person. Somebody is umming. I feel the same as Lucy. Thank you. Okay, I call those questions, comments regarding comparative financials, teasers. That's a great way to call them, as they pique the client's interest. So yeah, teasers is another good word for it. I used, what did I use? I like to use call to action or CTA, but yeah, teasers would be the same idea, something that compels the client to want to get back to you. And usually the best way to do that, I didn't phrase it very well in the beginning. The best way to do that is ask them a question. Don't tell them something. So the case would be, did you know your cost of goods sold is not lining up with the last few months? So don't say your cost of goods sold is out of whack. Say, did you know? Is there a reason you can explain to me? I often ship videos to my clients too, though. We don't always need to meet. I am meeting with the client next week on this whole donor perfect fiasco. But I have asked her, my clients also video back to me. I have asked my client to video back to me what the outcome she is looking for. So does she want the donor receipts to go out to the donors from Donor Perfect? Is she still going to issue them out of QuickBooks Online? Where does she want the donor income to land? We have a chance to change this. Right now, all of it is going into what we call the HAS. It doesn't matter. It's going into one income account, but maybe we can change that it is being more defined as to where this income is coming from. We have a chance to do a lot of things in here. I also asked her to tell me what she wants to do in terms of manual entry versus what Donor Perfect can do for her. And I asked her to send me a video explaining what all of those needs are. And then we are meeting in real life next week to sort this all out. But I asked her a bunch of the questions in order to engage her in me solving her problems. So somebody said, what is the content of the videos in lieu of the meetings? So this can be a range of anything. Again, don't send the videos. Share the videos with a specific email address and lock the videos down with a password. It's awkward to do in Loom. Please Google how to password protect your Loom videos. In my Financial Sense client dashboard, which I love because it's frozen, or static rows, whatever you want to call it, we have our Loom closing password by client listed in there that we can see. So password protect those videos. It can be a range of things. I have a client who is really struggling. They were a restaurant, this is a little while ago. We've changed the process, but they were really struggling with zero-sum sales receipts. I had given them a process on it with some visuals, and I realized that I really needed to ship them off a video. We didn't need to do that together. I needed them to have a legacy video that they could go back to. I had a client whose payroll was out of line and I couldn't figure out what it was. I sent them a video showing them what the payroll looked like versus what I wanted it to be, and I could talk my way through the process. That was a big win. I share videos all the time, and the content is completely varied. Marissa, if she is struggling with something, she will send me a Loom video of what the struggle is so that I can see it, and we can noodle through it together. Oh, Diane. Oh, yes, the double entry. Thank you. Diane is feeling my pain on Donor Perfect. I may have to like get a hold of you somehow just to ask you how that is going, because okay, anyways, now I am totally Kelly, stop. talking about things that are not related to this, especially since we are at time. So if anybody has anything else that they want to say, I would be open to a few more minutes. Otherwise, I don't need to torture you and hold you all up here. If you are ready to go, the webinar itself is actually done. I'm just going to send email to you, Diane, that you can get a hold of me. Please, please, please. I would certainly appreciate the help. Okay. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. It was cram-packed. What a great word. Cram-packed. All right. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. If some of you don't work Fridays, have a great weekend. And welcome to October, which is quickly coming. And hopefully I will see some of you at QuickBooks Connect Las Vegas. Please come up to me and say hello. Tell me your name and how I may have met you, because I am like an overwhelmed, what do I call myself at those? Anyways, I tend to be overwhelmed at them, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to say hi. And it doesn't mean that I meant to forget somebody's name. It's just that I am completely swirling around like a crazy person. So hopefully I will see some of you in November. I'm going to end the webinar and thank you for coming. Somehow I'm going to try and end the webinar. The webinar is not ending. Okay, I'm leaving the webinar.